Good morning, Tuesday, December 5th. And I titled the live, Mara Master, what is it? MSTR, MicroStrategy. MSTR and Riot, those charts, I will post them in the newsletter. I'll also do coin as well. I'll write down that I'll do coin. Crypto has been nuts. We'll put in GBTC. And just the algo. You can trade crypto in TRENDSPIDER. I mean, you can, map out Bitcoin. You can map out Ethereum. I was just looking at GBTC and kind of how much I've given up in selling this last year. 276%. I think it was about a $50,000 gain or something if I had held on to all of the stuff that I had. Oh, well. I wish I would have gotten it. I wrote it off last year as part of a, tax loss harvesting. I should have bought back into it. I didn't. Should have, but I didn't. But crypto has been nuts. One that I did just sell, TQQQ. I sold TQQQ at about 42.30, I think, 42.20, 42.30, somewhere around there. I put it into Savvy Trader, and I put the reason into Savvy Trader. And if you go over here to Savvy Trader, and if you're following me on Savvy Trader, the trading portfolio, just put in the history. I included a chart, the chart that I'm trading it on, but I sold it 42.45. It's button hooked. Well, I think it may come back. I just sold my shares, decided to get out of it. Nice 40% gain, 30% gain, somewhere in that neighborhood. I'll buy back in, but the reason I sold it, you can see here this button hook. And when I talk about a button hook, it's a half circle. And when you look at a 4-hour chart, you can constantly see these half circuits. You're not going to time the top. But we've lost confirmation on the 9-day. The MACD is crossing down. The RSI is at 50. It's in no man's land. Do I expect it to come back up at some point in time? Yes, it will come back up. We're just having this golden cross, but I think it's just coming down a little bit. So I bought this at the beginning of November, thinking that November was a solid seasonal month for TQQQ. If we look at TQQQ and we go back to, let's go back to 2010. So 14 years. The weeks of the years, you can see we've got a couple of weeks. But I'll buy back in because look at the 51 week. Look at the 52 week. And then the 53 week, that's leap year. But if we just look at the monthly, you can see the November, solid month. Solid month for 14 years, 79% with a mean of 8.55. I made 30%. You can see in December, it was only a 50% win rate. So you won 7 out of 10, mean rate 8.66. So still a good gain. But I just got out. I said, December, holiday time, I'm going to get out. No big thing. But I did put that on Savvy Trader. So if you're following that, that's great. This article will be in the newsletter. Biggest movers of the day. NEO surged more than 4% on their quarterly deliveries. GitLab surged 16% following AT&T's announcement. Ericsson surged 5%. Biggest stock losers, Nokia, SpringWorks. You can read this article. It's in Seeking Alpha. You can see more about it. If you're not subscribed to the newsletter over here, it's the fourth one down, Daily Stock Pick newsletter right here, Substack. You can read it every day for free. There is a paid version that is down here in the bottom that I do on the weekends, but the majority of the newsletter is for free. I will be raising the price, so I think it's $80 for the year. Lock in that price. Once I reorganize this front page, I'm going to raise the price to probably $100. So lock in $80 for the year. You'll get my newsletter every weekend. It includes more educational stuff. My setup on TrendSpider, the psychology of what I did, why I just sold TQQQ. I'll probably put that in the paid newsletter. So get that. If you want to trade like I do with the algorithm and see these button hooks and things, the entries and the exits on the algorithm, this is TrendSpider. Go over to Linktree, linktr.ee, and just click on the top. I think it's like $400 for another day or so for the elite level. You want the middle level. This is your sweet spot right here, elite. It's $429 for the year. So you just missed the regular pricing, but you're getting 53% off if you prepay for the year. So if you don't pay and you want a free 7-day trial, that price goes up to $780. If you just want to pay monthly, it's $79 a month. Either way, what you do is you basically click on this link. Then you email me, which is this link at dailystockpick3@gmail.com. I will send you a welcome letter. And I will send you a welcome letter that includes links to everything that you need to get. And the way you do this, and this is what I wanted to show you, is TrendSpider yesterday said, hey, SPY closed with a closed red today, but some very important stocks still managed to print a hammer candle. A hammer candle is a candle where the close is high on the thing. It creates like a hammer. So if you want to find this, you would go over here. And this is what my welcome letter includes. You just basically click on a link and you log in and import and you subscribe to that. And then you can go to your default workspace and look, and your hammer candle would be down here, right here. If you go over here and you look for hammer, hammer, daily hammer by TrendSpider, and you scan this. Let's look at the market scanner, and we're going to look at the hammer, daily bullish hammer by TrendSpider, and you can look at it's doing the S&P 500. So you can look at this and it pulls up the hammer. The candles will have a hammer. My candlesticks don't have a hammer, but you can see that's Microsoft, HWM, Howmet Aerospace, and LCRX. If you want to scan something that's in a little different category, say you want to scan the core investments group. You would just scan the core investment groups. Did anything, come up with a hammer candle? And it's simple market scanner. But that's how you do it. That's how I sell this thing. That's how I get you in, is with the 4-hour algorithm. It is just an import. But that's how you import the hammer candles, setting everything up. One thing I wanted to point out on Twitter as well is that AVGO, retest and bounce incoming. Look at that chart from TrendSpider right there. I'll include this in the newsletter if you want to see it, the link to the tweet. But this looks like a breakout may be possible. It may be retesting here, AVGO. If we look at AVGO, Broadcom, they have earnings coming up. And they have earnings coming up. Is it Wednesday? It is, yes, it's Thursday. Thursday after the bell. And are they going to retest it? Here in the algorithm, you can see we got in at 875. It started to pull back, got us out with a 7.52% gain. You're trading at 910 right now. If we go over here to FinViz and we look at AVGO, you can see a little bit high on the PE, not super high on the forward PE, on the expected. It's up 65% year to date. The target price is 1,104. You're trading at 923 right now. You can see most of these coverages with price targets are this year. So I think it's good, solid one. You can see a buy of $800,000 by a director here at 858. Most of these buys are at there's one at 872, which was $10 million by a director as well. The sales, 855. The big one here at 626 was in March. So they're not a ton of selling, but they're keeping. I would guess that this one has a solid trajectory. We can look at AVGO right here, and in Seeking Alpha, they say hold, Wall Street says buy, quant rating strong buy. And you can read this article, Broadcom stock. Again, if you go over to Seeking Alpha, you can read all this stuff. The valuation is where they say, hey, it's a D in Seeking Alpha. It's been a solid earner. I think Broadcom, if you want to play earnings this week, this is a solid company to play earnings. So I'll include that chart in the newsletter. Today we have MongoDB, Sentinel 1, Neo, Stitch Fix, Dave & Buster's, and Toll Brothers. Tomorrow we have MBA mortgage applications, ADP unemployment, and unit labor costs. Wednesday is a big one because we have GameStop. And GameStop has been on a run. Look at this one where we've got GameStop earnings coming up. You've got the algorithm getting you in at 1313. That right there is in 2 days, a nice 31% gain. And you're right up against that 200-day. It's going to provide some resistance, Don't care what timeline you're looking at. That's going to provide some resistance. The RSI is at 69. And the MACD looks like it's crossing up. It's still crossing up. But you might get a little button hook. I don't know what they're going to come out with. GameStop, for me, I don't think it's undervalued. I don't think it's overvalued. I think it's just one of these stocks that people love to trade. But I figured I'd cover it. Look, long term, I mean, just it's got some type of confirmation here long term. I just don't believe in this stock. We can look, if you want to look at Seeking Alpha, it's a sell. It's a hold. There's no way anybody's rating this a buy. I mean, it's just not. The only thing is retail. If retail comes back into this one and they start trading it, solid play. But Broadcom, DocuSign, Lululemon's a big one that we have on Thursday as well. And I showed that in Webull. This one has just been a solid. I mean, look at this move. 403 back in November, you're up 10%. From a long-term standpoint, this one has been a solid mover. I think you're running into this double top right here, which is at about 491. At about 500, you get to a point where this one is just probably going to pull back. I can't imagine it doesn't pull back. The PE on this one is huge. 58, 32. Me in particular, I like to shop on Amazon with Lulu-like. You can see they've got it a buy here. It's a strong buy. The valuation is the only thing that's come out on this one. As far as their growth, everything else is solid moving on this. I would just worry about if you're trading at 456 and you get to 500, it's a solid move. But you've got to, if they have anything that is negative, anything that even slightly goes wrong, this one's going to fall. So one thing that's coming out, the first 4 times levered ticker, 4 times S&P, it is 4X. So it's XXXX. Crazy that it's 4 times levered. It's going to be new, so it's probably going to be hot. You can probably trade this one for a pretty good, solid trade, as long as, again, the S&P is going up. But that's a 4 times levered ETF. XXXX. It's not out there yet, I don't think. Let's see. XXXX. Oh, it is out there. 4 times levered ETF. So I guess it opened up yesterday. Solid. If you want to trade that one, you can do that one. I'll include that in the newsletter. There was some interesting buys and sells yesterday from ARK. I noticed PagerDuty is on her top list, and PagerDuty has been just beaten down of recent. It started to come back a little bit, but you've got this gap up here between 24 and 25. She's buying in rather large portions in a couple of different places. So I noticed that one. I noticed 2 that she's buying Toast. TOST. This one got beaten down, and it's down at 14. This one came all the way down from 20. Nat Gas and Boyle and KOLD. This is a great article that I read. Natural gas sinks to lowest in September on mild weather record output. So you've got mild weather and you've got record output. I talked about this the other day, where Boyle, it trades on the futures of natural gas. So you can take a look at Boyle. Boyle today is up 4%. It does seem like it bounces between gains and losses. I would say trade the 65-minute. This one has just been a monster downward slide. Now, the 65-minute on here, you wind up losing 11% trading this over 8 months, but you've lost 49% if you just bought and held. The one that has been the winner is KOLD. KOLD is up 11% if you just bought and held this 8 months ago. You're currently in on the 65-minute at 81.55. It's 82.25. Looks like you're coming down. You got some gaps down here that I think might be in play. So I would probably take a look at this one. If you're interested in natural gas, read that article. I'll include it in the newsletter. Social requests. Sam asked me to look at the Hawaiian Airlines Alaskan deal. Here's what I know about this one. You were up, what? God, 180% yesterday. You were trading at $4. It kind of went up with some rumors. You can see the volume. The algorithm got you in at 13.59. I would probably say that was just pure luck to get in at 13.59. You're trading at $13.80, down 2%. The deal is that Alaska Airlines will buy them for $18. Now, here's the problem. And if you look at Alaska Airlines, ALK, this one just tanked. And this one went from a $39 to a $30. It went all the way down to 32 yesterday. It's at 34.56. I don't know that it's necessarily going to come back all the way. Remember, airlines for me have just been a losing strategy. I can't imagine that it's a good strategy. If we look at a weekly of Alaska Airlines, you can see it's just come down. I mean, the consolidation in the group probably good, but what I'm hearing is they just overpaid. I mean, why would you offer $18 per share to a company that's trading at $5? If we look at the long term on Hawaiian Airlines, these guys were in a slide. I mean, it's an obvious slide. So asking for $18 is way up here at the 200-day. They're now trading at 13. There is a thought that the administration will not allow this to go through. That's why you're trading at 13. They're saying it will take at least a year, 12 to 18 months to complete. I don't want to hold on to it for that long. And I don't think that Alaska Airlines is going to go up because of this. I think they're going to, it's a distraction. And I think Hawaiian Airlines, I think it's great if it goes through. I think they'll be fighting for it. But, between now and then, you're going to trade probably between $13 and $15. I don't see a trade in it. I think if you see a trade in it, you go after it. I just don't see a great one. Luca from Spotify asked me, I was wondering if you could talk about 3M, one of your podcasts. The information I'm able to scavenge on my own paints a very confusing picture of the company. So here's what I know about 3M, and I only know probably headline reading, is that these guys were involved in a bunch of lawsuits, including earplugs with the military, where people went deaf even though they were wearing earplugs. There was a mask issue with 3M around COVID. I'm not certain that the management, it kind of goes back to kind of Target, a quality company with bad management. I think that's what you're dealing with here. I think you're dealing with products that really aren't that great, to be honest with you. Look at that slide. If you want to buy back into this one, I think there's better places to put your money, to be honest. When we look at 3M, if you've got pending lawsuit litigation, look at the income. They lost $7 billion. I mean, you don't know what's going to, what you don't know in this company could hurt you. You can see December 4th, an upgrade from Barclays to 107, and you're trading at 103. So they upgraded it, but they only put the target price to 107. Why would you put the target price at 107 and you're trading at 103? I mean, again, if you were expecting this one to soar, I can't imagine. So if we go over to Seeking Alpha and we look up 3M, we can see the quant rating on this one, the Wall Street and the Seeking. It's hold. I mean, it's just, I don't think your research is bad, Luca. I just think the picture's kind of bad. So the outlook is bad. I can't imagine this one being a good one. I will include some links to my FIRE podcast, the Financial Independence Retire Early. I turns out I never got it onto Apple, so I applied last night for Apple Podcasts. If you guys want to listen to that one, it is on Spotify. If you go over to Spotify and FIRE Minimalism right here, it's a 3 episodes. And FIRE, if anyone's going to tell you about FIRE and it being a hey, I'm going to sell you a course. The course is simple. It's what's your FIRE number? Find out what your financial independence number is. The second is start tracking your expenses. And the third is increase your income. It's as simple as that. So I did 3 episodes. I'll probably do more. And the reason why this came up is because mint.com is actually going away. And I use Mint every day to use stuff, but Intuit's taking Mint away. They're folding it into Credit Karma. But you can see here, I found Empower, and I like Empower, and they'll give you $20 if you use that link on my link tree. But that's the reason it came up. I'll include that in the thing. Let's look at some scans. In the core portfolio, Uber gets another cross up. I mean, this one's just continuing to go. Trading at 57. I said yesterday when it was trading at 60, I think 60 is the magic number on here. I didn't trim at 60, probably should have, but 60 is going to be tough for this one to hold again. So Uber got a cross up. Pepsi got a cross up as well. I've talked about this one being $180 stock. It's at 168 right now. I think it gets back to 180, so I don't think it's bad for you to buy it. 151, great trade here. If you bought it at 161. I mean, you know, solid. It's a solid company. I own this one because I do. I drink a lot of cola for some reason, but Boyle got a cross up yesterday. It's just kind of floundering down here. I would tell you, read that article on natural gas supply and warmer weather. That's the big one to read. FAZ got a cross up. This is the financial bear for finances, and it's triple levered. So don't be scared that your stuff's going to go down. But triple levered financial bear got a cross up here at 1562. You're trading at 1592. It's up 2%. Could mean that the financials have just run too far too fast. Could be as simple as that. One that I found interesting, and I'll include this chart in the newsletter, is Realty Income. This is a REIT with a 5% dividend. It's a solid, it's one of the largest REITs, I think, out there. It's just crossed its 200-day. So you're holding it above there. If we look at the long term, this is what I want you to see, is the long term, it looks like it's beaten down, but it's starting to come back. Don't want to raise the white flag and say, hey, it's done going down and it's going to go up again, because you're nowhere near the 50-day. It's still turning negative. The 200-day is still turning negative. You just had this death cross here back in May, but with October's lows kind of being done and we have confirmation above that, it's an interesting one if you're interested in REIT. NEO. They were one of the most active stocks today. NEO, they reported their record quarter. This is up 4%. They had a cross up here at $7.29. ARKG. I like to track the ARK funds. I don't invest in them. I will trade them. Genomics is something I know nothing about. So ARKG is just up at its 200-day. I mean, it just got another leg up. Here down at 26, you're trading at 28. Solid move already. You could be coming up if you close above that 200-day, but you can see yesterday we kind of bounced up against it. It's probably providing some resistance, but it did get a bullish cross up on this one. Now, Deere. Deere is one that I want you to look at. I currently own a couple of shares of Deere, but it's $368. You're trading at $363. The reason I want you to look at that is not a short-term trade. It's long-term. I think you've got the downside here to probably 332, which would be another 10% down. You don't have confirmation, but it should be in your watch list, because the RSI is down at 42 and the MACD is kind of below the oscillator. So it looks like it might be an opportunity for you to get into this name long term. I don't think Deere's going anywhere. They're the way that they maintain their tractors and the cost to farmers and their cost of the machinery, I think it's a solid company. Again, solid earnings. So if you have any questions, hit me up on email, any of the socials. They're all up here on the link tree. The link is down below, linktr.ee/daily-stock-picks. Okay, I will talk to you guys tomorrow.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.